So one of the things I really enjoy doing is breaking down a word's etymological structure. Like, where does the word come from? What did it used to mean? And how did it develop to meaning what it means today? And very often there isn't a massive difference between the two, but the difference can be interesting, and the difference can also be enlightening about how to really think about that particular concept. And today I want to talk about the words positive and negative. So, to posit something, which is the root word of the word positive, is to put it forward. So I posit an idea, etc. Or you can think of deposits in the bank, or deposits from a river flowing over its banks, and then there's sediment deposited on the banks, etc. and so forth. Negative, therefore, is quite clearly the opposite, which means to take away, to take away. Modern day circumstances, or the modern day interpretation of those words would be something along the lines of, positive is good and happy, negative is bad, sad. And for those words, when you think about it, put forward, take away, to become just emotional states, that's kind of, I don't want to use too strong language, but it's kind of like you've impoverished the meaning quite a bit. And what I mean by that, to talk about positivity as a creative thing, as a generative, productive thing, that's powerful. Because how are you supposed to be positive? So toxic positivity, right? This idea of you're positive when you're facing a real problem, and therefore you take your eye off the ball and the problem actually consumes you. Like, that's not a good thing. No, to be truly positive, maybe in the face of a challenge, is not about maintaining a happy perspective of things or looking at the brighter side. It's about what is the productive way of moving forward. What is the way that we move forward that builds, that creates, as opposed to just sitting there and letting the challenge consume you anyway, right? So in both cases, with being negative, again, as an emotional state, or with being positive, toxically positive, where you pretend like the thing doesn't exist and you just smile your way into perdition. In both cases, the negative reality consumes you. It's only the truly positive approach that makes you consider how to address the problem in a way that moves us forward productively, creatively, in a way that helps us to result in a net gain, so to speak. Negative means to take things away. So negative is not so much about, things feeling sad, but it's in what ways am I taking things away? In what ways am I destroying, disregarding, chopping things down? There's this problem called tall poppy syndrome, where we have a group of people and there's an established sort of median point, and someone who rises beyond that becomes the hated one, because they dare to show us that we could be greater and we're not, right? And so we chop the tall poppy down, tall poppy syndrome, right? That's negativity. Funnily enough, there are ways in which being positive and being negative can be actually bad. So you posit something that is actually, posit something like drugs. Some people have, all sorts of views about drugs, but I'm thinking here about the likes of, heroin and cocaine that actually ruin people's lives. That's probably not the thing to posit, but that becomes not truly positive, putting something forward, because what's being put forward takes away, right? And then the flip side is like critique. True critique, good critique, is not just about chopping people down, like bringing them down to size or whatever. It's about helping someone to realize their weaknesses so that they can grow taller than they would have if they just continued with that weakness. So the point of negative criticism is to be productive in the long run. It's like and now I ask this of myself, and I guess you can do the same for yourself. How do I live a more positive, productive, building up life, rather than how? And then, well, let me put it this way: am I open to seeing the ways in which I am legitimately denigrating my own life and the life of others? And can I turn that around to be more positive? Here's one way you could do this. Think about the various ways that you complain in your life or in life, and think about whatever it is you're complaining about is actually something that is negative, that is taking away. That's why you're complaining. So, can I identify the things I generally complain about? And then can I also identify ways in which the response now can be more a building up response, a adding something good to the picture, a productive response? So it's like I'm complaining, here's this bad thing. Well, I must now, a former boss and a friend of mine used to say in meetings, it's like, oh, don't just come with the negatives. Come with the negative, yes, but then come with the positive. Come with the solution. Come with the problem and then come with the solution. Right? And I think that is a good way to think about it. Okay, here's this problem, but here's also the solution. So here's something that we're losing, but here's an alternative or something that we can approach or pursue to help build up. And that's the reflection for this week.